doesn't look like particularly an evil plant, but it spreads like crazy. It started the Zudu down in Seattle. They went through a little denial, but it's all over King County now. And it went out in the bags of Zudu. They weren't aware, and now King County's chasing it all over. Question?
So if it's intermixed with the regular hostas and garden plants, what do you recommend?
Dig it out. Yeah, just dig it out. I mean, it sprays out and stuff, but you get into gardens, and really the only thing you can use in a garden is Roundup. And, you know, I mean, you can go after it in between plants and stuff, but, you know, Roundup, anything it touches, it's going to kill. And my theory on is that its drift, that little tiny bit that you don't see, is a lot more toxic to plants than just sitting there spraying it right on. You know, it's Peter principle or something going on there. So the overspray with it is pretty rough on hostas. Just if you've got this, just dig it out. Really garlicky smelling, no doubt about it. Yeah.
So Sonny, does that mean that it was in some of the food source that the animals got fed at the zoo?
Yeah, well, they don't know quite what the source was to begin with, but the first patch was found growing in the zoo. Now, how it got there, they don't know, but it had been moved out from there, and that's where the denial came in, is they really didn't think that it moved out from the zoo, and it moved out from the zoo. But it looks like so many other plants. Oh, piggyback plant. I mean, I look at this and I see piggyback plant, especially when it's a little bit smaller. This is pretty mature. It's been cut off a few times, gets these really nice little white flowers on it, and then develops into one of those long mustard seeds. But it really, if you get a big patch of it, it is very, very garlicky smelling, and it's the only one of the mustards that's like this. But other than that, pretty much looks like a mustard when it grows up. Now, buffalo fir, I was talking about it. It's a bird seed contaminant, and it's a native plant in the southwest, but it comes up here in bird seed. And the only time I ever see it is somebody brings in a little pot with a buffalo fir in it for me, and I'm always so happy to see it because they're so unusual. It looks like a tomato plant covered with thorns. The leaves have thorns, the stems have thorns. It only doesn't have thorns in the flowers. So, very, very much like a tomato plant with thorns. If you find one of these, call me. From now on, I will be tracking where these happen, so I can try to go back to what the source was. The Washington Native Plant Society is called Butterfly Bush, the Scotch Brew of the future. If you drive down through Seattle, you see all this butterfly bush on the sides of the freeways, especially down around Boeing Field. I was never planted out there. It might be really pretty, but it's going to become a huge issue in the future. And that's the problem with a lot of these ornamentals, is they're escaping out of the gardens, going out into wild areas where nobody's taking care of them. The big one that I'll say that for a great comparison is ivy. You know, ivy's killing who knows how many trees out there, taking it down because it's gotten out of people's gardens and is getting out into wild areas where nobody's taking care of it. And butterfly bush is the same way.
Sonny, what about the newer varieties of butterfly bush that they say they're creating, they're offering as sterile plants?
Right now, I am not aware of any of them that actually are guaranteed to be sterile. I know that, and this was 2 years ago, and there may be something out there, but they were being worked on down in Oregon, and I haven't heard whether or not they've actually come up with it yet. But the orange ones, the white ones, the pink ones.
Well, some of the new dwarf types are touted in the sources vendors' books as sterile varieties that are safer to plant.
Safer.
Well, I use that word. I'm not reading a label.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, like I said, Bud Lee David is the only one that's out there is listed. All the rest of them, you know, it gets in a little bit of my opinion, the state board's opinion, but we are seeing other colors out there and a long way from any other source. It's not like they could have been, somebody accidentally planted one out in the middle of the forest somewhere. So just be aware of butterfly bush.
So deadheading them, removing the dead flowers before they can drop seed, that's your control.
Yeah.
And Sonny, you left a card up there. If people call you because they have noxious weeds, there's nothing going to happen to them.
We are regulatory, yes, and we can push. We can do enforcement. We can do fines. Long time ago, my board said we'll do enforcements if we have to. Don't want to get into this fine thing. Driving by and sending somebody a ticket for their noxious weeds. I'd have to get a really, really big ticket book, and we would have people mad at us. I can't even imagine.
What about surfactants? Will that help things like that?
Yes, surfactants. Great question. Anytime you use a herbicide, use a surfactant. The surfactants break down water surface tension. Surface tension is your enemy. You get a nice little hairy plant, and you drop a water, or your spray solution to go down there without a surfactant. It's going to sit right up on top of those hairs. Never get to the surface of the leaf. Evaporate, go away, and that plant's going to go, that was nice. You know. Now, if you spray ivy, you'll just watch the spray roll off. But you use a surfactant, it's going to get on there and spread out over the leaf and actually stay on the plant. And this one, being a penetrating surfactant, we use a product called Solgard 309. And it's got this alcohol component in it. What it actually does is starts to melt down the cuticle of the plant just a little bit so the herbicides can get into it. Slick plants are really hard to kill. I was watching DOT spraying salal along Highway 9 one time, and I went, oh my God, I love salal. You know, it keeps all the weeds down. All you gotta do is mow over the top of it. Life's good, and they're out there spraying away, and I'm going, no. But here you got salal, it's really this slick leaf plant, and they were using no surfactant going after another plant out. So there was no effect on the salal at all. So, you know, the surfactants are really, you know, you're talking about silver bullets, and I said there weren't any. The surfactants are as close as we've got. They will make your herbicide work better. You'll use less herbicide. You'll kill more weeds using the surfactant.
It's just mixed in with your other weed.
Yep. And this one,
1 tablespoon per gallon of mix.
so, you know, we're using about an ounce per gallon of the products we're using. So it doesn't take much and really makes a huge difference. Did you guys do the marker dye too? Do you sell marker dye?
We don't. People just don't know about it, but with your saying this, we might get some.
We use a marker dye also, and if you're out doing a pasture or you're doing a bunch of spraying with a couple of people, this blue marker dye is it's kind of a food grade dye. In fact, but what it does is you can see where you sprayed, and it gives you a visual of how much you're getting on the plants. When you're just out there spraying a clear liquid, it's kind of hard to tell what you're actually getting on. So this blue marker dye, like what I tell my folks, is you want to go out there, you want to spray these plants, you want to make them nice blue, just like you use in spray paint. You want no runs, no drips, and you want the plant evenly covered.